The audacity which allows us to build a new world every day has also birthed organizing models for us to clearly see our way forward, even beyond the chaos. We believe with absolute certainty that for these life-sustaining efforts to prevail and for victory to be won, we need you.
What we do every week is we make sure that we are centered in this space and ready to share information, ready to exchange thoughts, ready to exchange love with one another as brothers, because we call this a safe, sacred, and healing space, right? For black men. We say it's one of the safest places in the world for black men is right here at the Black Man Lab. And we say that because we're all here collectively building with the mindset of love for one another in our community. So one of the things that we do first and foremost, we get centered. And part of that is just kind of letting go of all of the junk that might be in our head from the day, some of the junk that might be in our head from yesterday, a month before, or a year, or hell, your life. And we just want to let that go. So what we do is we just take some concentrated, concerted, deep breaths that are designed for us to bring in nothing but the good and exhale all that does not serve us. So everybody cool? All right, so what I ask is that everybody get your feet flat on the floor, back as upright as possible. If you're eating, give it a break for a second, and just put yourself in a position of relaxation. And as we take these three deep breaths, we're really concentrating on trying to clear our minds, clear our souls, and be ready to exchange information tonight. So this first deep breath, as we take it in, I want you to really think about something today that didn't serve you well, something that got you, as we say, there's a couple of brothers up here from Chicago, we used to say back home, got you off your square, right? Something that just got you out your right mind. We want to think about that and get up out of it. So on 3, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, breathe in. Breathe out. And this next deep breath, I want you to think about when you've had those times.
All right, brothers, we got our ancestors in this space. We recognize that we are on their shoulders, that nothing happened. We wouldn't even be in this space if it were not for those who came before us. And so we have a special Black Man Lab libation. We ask you to raise your fist up. And we ask first that you will call an ancestor, one of those 10,000 ancestors in your bloodline that brought you into existence, that would be here if they were on this physical plane. They would be here with you, or they would have drove you here. They might be over to the other side. I know my grandmother would definitely be over there with the sisters and would have made sure I was right up in here. Her name is Pearl Davis. So on 3, we want you to say that name nice and loud. Let them know you in the space. 1, 2, 3. And then this one we call on those ancestors that put in work for all of us. Right? They're not in our bloodline, but they were willing to sacrifice themselves, even time with their families, so that they might build. I'm thinking today of a brother by the name of Imari Obadeli, who was the father of the modern reparations movement, one of the former presidents of the Republic of New Africa. So on 3, call one of those names that inspire you. 1, 2, 3. And finally, for those beautiful ones not yet born that have come after us and will ask, what did black men do in Atlanta, in New York, in Chicago? What did they do to build a better world for me and for my grandchildren? So for those great, great, great grandchildren that are coming forward, we say Ashe, 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 oh, Ashe, oh.
The other thing that we do is we allow space for healing. We allow space for us as brothers. And we understand that, we have a very unique place on this earth. That some of the struggles and things that we see, other folks just don't see. So what we say is, because this is a what space? Safe. And a what space?
Safe.
And a what space? Healing space. We say if you need some healing, if you need just a brother to and say, hey man, I see you and I love you, come to the front. We're gonna all come show you love and show each other love. So if there's anybody in here that can use that today, please come to the front and we're gonna all show you love.
If we gon' be free, it's up to me, it's up to you. So we gon' fight together and make sure we make it through. We need you. And we love y'all too much. We love y'all way too much. Alone. All my people love y'all too much. We love y'all way too much. We love y'all way too much. We love y'all way too much. You alone. Need you to make it back home. Yeah.
They just need to see black men move like this, right? Because part of it is just exposure. For them to be able to see us, say, hey man, you good? And hug each other, and no beef, no drama, no nothing. Everybody good? All right, we got the assignment? All right, let's give it up for Brother Terrell with He is Not Stop.
Hey, he told me you could come, but I saw him on Saturday.
lot of
He said, go bring the heat, he did. Thank you, brother. Big round of applause for the ear doctor. So, you know, we want to have a good, rich conversation, right? So sometimes it gets good to somebody, and they might get a little long-winded. And if that happens, and the ear doctor's gonna do this, and then we all gonna do this. And nobody's feelings gonna be hurt, all right? Everybody good with that? All right. All right, so let's get into it. You ready?
Yeah, so brothers, every now and then we bring somebody and we pause, and we just gotta give it up because they've been a lifelong warrior. You all know we've had Sekou Odinga in this space. We've had Baba Mukasa in this space. We've had Andrew Walter Young in this space. We've had people who have operated for a long time at a high level in our interest. And one of them has been invited here. I think we've been doing this for about 2 or 3 years, but finally everything aligned. So from New York City, we got Brother Charles Barron. We got stand up and give him a round of applause. Freedom fighter, warrior for our people from New York, City Council, state. But more important than any of those elected positions, he's just been begging on the side of black folk and trying to make sure that we get free. And so I just wanted to recognize the work that he's done over many, many years. So we're glad you're here, brother. Thank you.
You know, when we talk about public health, there's so many aspects of it that affect our community, right? So, you know, the food you eat, our general health as it relates to exercise, policies around public health, even stuff is such as why certain cancers affect our community and not other communities. So tonight we want to have a discussion around these brothers that we have up here. They'll give themselves an introduction around different aspects of public health and why it's important that we have knowledge around it, but then also we want to be able to have a dialogue as well, so you all be able to ask questions. Everybody cool with that? Okay, so first and foremost, brothers, if you could give a quick introduction, we'll say 90 seconds or so of yourself and where you're at in the space, and you know, we'll start the conversation here.
Perfect. My name is Andre Moore. I'm a second-year law student at Loyola University School of Law in Chicago, Illinois. I'm also a fellow for prostate cancer and African-American males. So from there, I went to USC, University of Illinois, Chicago. And I was interviewed and accepted into the Medical Scholars Program, but I ended up deciding to go to law school, where I'm a health law fellow at the Beasley Law Institute of Health.
Just thought how y'all feel. My man's been humble, he's cold. Like, he writes policy, he's done clinical research, he's done a lot of stuff. He's a bad brother. My name is Murray, that's the name I'm gonna use tonight. I go by a lot of names because I'm from Chicago. But basically, I've been serving the hood for 25 years. I ran a program I still do called Project Brotherhood. It's out of Chicago. We serve men physically and clinically. You know, I have social programs similar to this. So the question was, you know, what is public health? To me, public health is everything. So I'm just gonna take 10 seconds to explain. If a man comes to my clinic with diabetes, we just don't ask him, you got diabetes? We try to find out the root cause. Financially, does he have a job? Which means, can he afford his insulin to keep the heat, the electricity on? What's his mental state? Do you understand it? Are you just calling it sugar? Because, you know, that's what we say in the hood. Right, so the diabetes, who are the people around you to support you? You know, what are some of the economic things you need, the spiritual things, the physical things? So every aspect of life has to touch on 5 things, and just not really the absence of disease. We'll talk about
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Cliff Morgan, and first off, I just gotta say thank you to these guys on the end. I've known these dudes literally since I was probably 3 years old, running behind them on the block, right? So I look up to these guys, and what you guys are doing here is fantastic. And kind of in conjunction with what Murray was sharing, I've actually worked with Project Brotherhood about 25 years ago in Chicago, but I've moved on and I've moved into the education and workforce development space, more specifically working in STEM. I heard a lot of STEM cats in here, man. So I work day to day with NSBE. Actually, it's a partnership between NSBE, SweetShip, and ACES. Those are 4 engineering diversity societies that came together to help promote pathways for bachelor's degree recipients for African Americans, Latino, Native American, and women engineers. So the goal was to get that number to 50,000 bachelor's degrees from all of those folks. We've reached that number actually 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, earlier, I had an impact report convening on LinkedIn today where the leaders of the organization talked about the success of the program. I'm saying all that to say because it connects into what Brother Murray was saying about health. It covers all aspects and dimension, right? So in order to get a great job, we are told to do what? Go to school, go to college, right? In order to get into engineering and STEM fields, you gotta be good in science and math, right? Our schools, we know the numbers are not serving us well in science and math, and there's a shortage, not just in our community, but overall in STEM careers in this country. That connects back to public health, right? The policies that set up the educational system and the way that we react to it and have to deal and live with, all these systems are connected. So the latest title I've been giving myself, I'm a systems thinker, right? So I'm thinking about the entire system and the intersection of all these different networks, individual or micro systems in the larger ecosystem. So where do all of these things connect? And for me, and for what we're talking about, that's where public health comes into play.
Willie said, my name is Charles Barron from New York City, and when I think of health, public health, I think of capitalism and we have to have a revolution. I think of socialism where health is about your need, and under capitalism, health is about profit. So at some point, we gotta get some power. Power is the great equalizer. When you have power, you have the ability to determine the health care in your community. You have the ability to keep hospitals open or fund any of these programs. When we have trillions of dollars in this nation, billions of dollars in New York City, and we got the most high blood pressure, the most cancer, the most every disease you can think of, and it's unhealthy to know that you have a job and you go in the store to buy some food, and you're better off and come out cheaper eating your money because the food is too expensive. So I want to talk about healthcare in a comprehensive sense and how it relates to power, capitalism, socialism, and revolution.
All right, y'all ready for this? Chicago, New York, in the house, man. These brothers have traveled. We appreciate y'all getting here. Dig a little deeper in terms of what you see as the most pertinent public health issues that black men are facing, and how the work that you're doing seeks to address that. So we can try to all be thinking, at least jumping in y'all head about what you all see in this space, and what can we do along with what you're doing to try to move us forward.
I think what you all are doing right now is extremely helpful, and that's just raising awareness. In undergrad to law school, I worked on a paper called Embracing the Law Course on flat maleness as it pertains to black males. Oftentimes, flat maleness. And flat maleness is the concept where we all fall under the same umbrella as males. Whether you're a white male, you're Hispanic, you're Latino, whatever the case is, they tend to all group us into one category. And my whole purpose is to show that we have unique experiences and disadvantages and health vulnerabilities as black males that is separate from other groups of males. So by raising awareness as it pertains to that, we're able to gain resources that we are often neglected from receiving because we're grouped in with other males and seen as having privilege or some sort of power, which we don't have according to the data within our community. So I think that's one of the most important aspects. It's just raising awareness and being bold enough to stand on who you are as a black man and be willing to face your vulnerabilities as well from a health aspect. So I think by raising awareness on who you are, building and dialoguing with other brothers, we'll be in a better position to gain those resources and things that help us out as a community.
Where do we get those resources from? When we say resources, are they state, county, federal, or?
Yeah, for the most part, from your state, right? And this could be policy change, and this could happen in various states, of course, not just Chicago, Illinois, where I'm at right now, but more so on the local level. That's getting involved in politics and things of that nature as well, and actually voting and demanding something for your vote to put people in office that will do something to advance your health as a black male.
Where'd you go to undergrad?
I went to undergrad at UIC School of Public Health. I went to undergrad at UIC School of Public Health. Originally, I had people in my corner telling me to go to community college instead of, stay in community college instead of going to UIC School of Public Health. But fortunately, nothing's wrong with that. But I had great mentors in my corner that pushed me and motivated me to go to UIC, and they saw the bigger picture, which propelled me to go to Loyola School of Law.
Want to jump in?
Just real quick, DJ, get ready if I talk too much. So we could sit here and say chronic diseases, meaning diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer. We could talk about unemployment. We could talk about violence, especially with brothers between 18 and 34. We could talk about safety issues on the job in terms of if you're working at Ford or you're working at a company, you have to worry about asbestos and other things. So all these things are public health issues, but all these things are preventable. The awareness and education and us understanding what we need to do. So one of the things I live by, I never try to tell brothers to get screenings. Let me use an example. The older I got, a lot of my peers wanted prostate cancer screenings. For you young brothers, what they hear about is a digital rectal exam, and a doctor puts his finger in your butt for about 5 seconds to see if you have polyps to develop cancer. A lot of people think black men are homophobic, we don't want to do that. No, it's just an invasive procedure. Ain't nobody talking to us about it. But we're dying from it. So what do we do? What do we do? Anybody? Y'all gonna get it? The problem, they don't go. The problem is we're not aware. Now, did you know there was a blood test that you could get for that? The blood test is about 85% accurate. Imagine if we started telling brothers, yo, Jack, you ain't gotta go through the DI. You can get the blood test. So some of the simple things we do with violence, we want to help the youth. Let's train them. Let's have some of these engineers teach them about IT. Let's talk about policy with gun laws. Let's talk about other things. So the things that are killing us are preventable violence. So we just gotta step up and do something. And the last part, it takes a collection of everybody. It takes lawyers, financial people, social workers, cats on the street. Medical people can't solve it by themselves, so we gotta collectively build together.
Appreciate you. The thing that I keep hearing these responses, and it popped in my head as soon as you asked the question. My people perish for a lack of knowledge, and it's been emphasized here, right? So the thing that I'll jump in on is that that multi-dimensional task force to attack this problem. One of the things I always say to cats, like, the battle is on many fronts, right? So to just say it's the doctors, you know, or it's the policy folk, nah, it's everybody. It's everybody sitting in this room getting involved and getting engaged. And I'm hearing Brother Charles over here say stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's some revolutionary ass politics. And that's what we need to get into, right? Because we've had folks represent us for a long time, but we're in the same positions.
That's right.
So who are they really representing, right? You start to themselves, right? You start to follow the dollars. Like, it's out here for us to see, and I'm gonna tell you too, when, you know, this is where I get a little radical, so this is off the platform for the Council on Black Health. What, right? You know, all this stuff is happening, it's visible for us to see, but nobody wants to talk about it. That's why this space is important, because y'all get to talk about it, right? You can talk about it freely, you can find people that can back it up with the data and information and the research. That's where the power starts to come into play, right? Because we hear the conspiracies and they sound great, and there's a thread of truth in there, but shit goes left.
That's right.
Right? But you gotta follow that thread of truth, and that gets you to the answers and where you need to go. And it's local, it's federal, it's all of those different levels in order to attack these problems.
Made a beautiful point. The most unhealthy thing in the black community is Negroes with power. Having Negroes in power position. There's nothing more unhealthy than that. They talk about Donald Trump. You better look out for sellout Joe Brown. You know, those are the ones that are directly in our community. And I'm not just talking rhetoric. What we did in New York City, we ran against a powerful Democratic machine. A machine is when the Democratic Party has all the money, Wall Street backing them up, and their politicians are hard to beat. We can call them sellout all you want. You can't beat them because we're not organized to beat them. So I got tired of calling them ain't your mama sellout, Negro, kiss my, and all that. So I decided, let's take them out. We beat the machine in New York City and was in the city council and the state assembly, my wife and I, for 22 years. 22 years, we were able to get the state assembly to support the release of Jalil Montekim, a political prisoner, to support the release of Herman Bell and Seth Hayes. We got 3 members of the Black Liberation Army out of prison because we were in a powerful position to make that happen. And my beloved East New York, look out for the same, but my beloved East New York, and my beloved East New York, low income. You know, people said, Charles, you got money, move out of East New York, Brooklyn. And said, no, I'm not moving nowhere. Guess what? Harlem, gentrified. Bedford-Stuy, gentrified. East New York has more black people in its population than when I came in. As a matter of fact, we lost whites. Somebody said, Charles, I saw 5 white people in East New York. They were visiting, passing through. They were passing through. On the real side, we stopped gentrification. Why? Because we had the power in the city council. The city council determines what can be built on publicly owned land. So if I'm the city council member, my colleagues are going to defer to me and say, Charles, LU 346 is coming in your district. You want it? No, sir. Thank you. That project is dead. I don't even have to have a press conference or demonstration. That's power. That's power. And Donald Trump came to Alabama Avenue and my black community to build Trump Towers on city-owned land. He has to see the Black Panther. stop gentrification. We brought in, talking about health, I got stuff for our hospitals, millions of dollars of equipment for our hospital that they never gave us before. And I didn't win kissing any part of the anatomy I ought not be kissing. I was kicking it, and we still won. So I just want to encourage you. Power is the great equalizer.
That's right.
I don't care about somebody being racist. If I got power, your racism is irrelevant.
That's right.
It's irrelevant. I just want to say, y'all got a bunch of Negroes in the Atlantic City Council. I know that. Got Negro mayors and all of this stuff. So we got to get some black radicals, revolutionaries elected to seats of power.
That's right.
And use your power for the best of your community. Thank you.
That's right.
It's a thing called the AMI, the Area Median Income.
Yes.
So when a developer comes to your neighborhood, which is predominantly black, and says, I want to build 100 units of affordable housing. The first thing you say, affordable to who? And how are you defining affordability? This is what HUD, the national organization that defines affordability as 80% of New York City's AMI, or 80% of Atlanta's AMI is what he calls affordability. Now in New York City, if the area median income is $120,000 for a family of 3, and they're saying affordability is 80% of that, then that means those who are going to get in those apartments will be making $90,000 a year. So a developer came into my office and said, hey, Councilman Barron, we're going to build affordable housing in your neighborhood, 122 units. And he pulled out these beautiful pictures. I said, put them away. I don't want to see the pictures. What's the AMI requirement? And he said, 80% of the AMI, that's what HUD said. And I said, what's New York City's AMI? He said, I'm not sure. I said, it's $120,000. That means people have to make $90,000 to get in your housing. And you want me to prove that. What is my neighborhood AMI? You know what he said? I don't know. And I said, guess what? This meeting is terminated. You go find out. He said, I can look it up right now. Take me 3 minutes. No, I made him wait 3 weeks. He came back and said, now what's my neighborhood AMI? $36,000 for a family of 3. So now let me tell you what it's going to be. Because I had the power. If I said no to that project, it's dead. And I told him it's going to be 80% of the units are going to be for people making $25,000, $35,000, and $45,000 a year. And we're going to set aside 10% of them for the homeless. And we're going to make sure another 10% is for our elderly, else I'm not signing off on the project.
That's right.
So I got all of that, right? He said, okay, could you sign off now? No, what's the rent going to be? The rent's too damn high, I'm not signing. I made the rent. Nowhere in New York City could you get a 1-bedroom apartment for $700. Nowhere. I made them do a 2-bedroom for $1,100 a month. And then he said to me, how can I make money off that? So first I don't give a damn how you make money. But secondly, I read his whole paperwork. He wanted to make $12 million off of that project. He was getting welfare. I told him, get your welfare. He said, welfare? Yeah, when we get free money, it's welfare. When you get free money, it's subsidies. So either we're all on subsidies or we're all on welfare. Go get your welfare per unit. He was getting $60,000 per unit. Wow. And he wanted to make $12 million. I said, here's the deal. Or you could just leave and this is dead. You're only going to make $3 million. And this is going to be 100% affordable for the people in my neighborhood. And I don't want a bunch of studios. because that's how they make money. I'm gonna have a few studios and more, 2 and 3. We don't have no one person in the family in our neighborhood, so don't give us no studios. That's how you stop gentrification. When you get Negroes who developers fund their campaigns, they sign off on these projects and they said it's 25% affordable. And that 25% ain't even affordable. That's how whites come in. Atlanta was 70-80% black.
That's right.
Now it's like 46%
right.
black.
That's right.
Remember we said Washington D.C. was chocolate city? Now it's vanilla city. Because it's 40-some odd percent. But East New York, we are 92% black and brown.
What's the process of becoming a council?
Excellent. That's a very good question. You know, y'all can do it first for the council. That's where the power is. Check out what the power of the city council. They pass the budget. They pass laws, and they determine what's going to be built on city. Like that Cop City, if you didn't have Negroes, that thing wouldn't even be coming in. Ain't no white people bringing in Cop City. Black people are. So if y'all wanted to really be serious, you find a district. That's what I did, my little East New York. I said, how many people come out to vote in East New York? How many people, what did it take to win? I said, okay, if I can get 4,000 or 5,000 votes, I got this.
How do we get on the ballot?
Where you get on the
If I'm
ballot?
a felon, can I get on the ballot?
Absolutely, in New York City. I don't know about the state here, but if you are a convicted felon, you can vote in New York City. I don't know what's happening
You can
here.
vote. You can vote.
You can vote here.
You're right.
I had a brother that spent 14 years and he ran with me. And so, yes, you can get on the ballot. I'll be glad to come back and have a workshop on it.
Yeah.
I can show you how to do petitions, because that's how the machine beats you. That's a good question. The machine will beat you by not letting you get enough signatures to even have your name on the ballot. I knew that I needed 900 good signatures. I got 5,000. And then you know what they did? Because I had 5,000, they knew I was going to be on the ballot, because you better know how to raise some money. They took me to court. You think Obama was bad? They said I wasn't a citizen of the United States of America. I'm not lying. I had to bring my birth certificate to the court, and the judge was picked by the machine. Wow. So he couldn't kick me off the ballot because I had more than 900 signatures. They made me spend money in court instead of on flyers and posters. But guess what? We beat them anyway. Because after we got out of court, we got in the street. But I would love to come back and do a workshop just on that. How to beat the machine, how to get on the ballot, how to raise the money, how to do election day operation, get out the vote, how do you do your mailing strategy, your robocalls. We have to beat the machine. The best thing y'all could do is get these Negroes out, and don't be afraid to lose a race. The first time I ran, I got 4,000 votes, the machine got 6,000. I got a flyer the next day. I said, thank you, East New York. I went back on a train station, I had a big flyer, 4,000 votes. They said, you won? I said, I took second. There was only 2 of us in the race. I said, I've been a second, but y'all gotta help me out next time. I said, all right, Baron, we'll get them next time. Yeah. Do it, run. Win, lose, or draw, run.
Here, you'll have a lot of immigrants just coming into the country. How does that affect lower and middle class black families?
On several levels. On the level of people servicing the immigrants and migrants, it's nobody like us receiving those bills.
That's right.
That from the housing level, they provide the housing and stipends. There's a lot of brothers in Chicago and sisters, homeless families not getting nothing. They're shutting down our schools on the south side of our neighborhood, but 1 or 2, and filling them with migrants, community centers. So they're taking over. Even on the street level, the brothers on the street asking for change are having battles with the migrants because the migrants are asking for change. When it comes to policies, in Chicago, the migrants could be cops and they're not even citizens.
So they can also vote?
I don't know about that. So imagine that. Where do you think they're gonna put these half-speaking half-speaking migrants at? In our neighborhoods.
That's right.
These sites. But it's really deeper than that. What they're trying to do, and Brother Brand could speak on that, they're trying to restructure districts from voters. You know what I'm saying? And like he was saying, the black politicians in Chicago, the black folks have turned. They're definitely not voting Democrat. I don't think they're gonna vote Republican, but they really don't have a choice. So that migrant situation, let's forget about the crime, let's forget about the lack of resources, and let's look at what they're really doing. If they're allowing these these cats to have citizenship, that means their people, it won't be brothers like him in office, it'll be other ones. And they don't care about us right now, so it's gonna get worse.
And real quick with that too, right? That's the local level, but when you think about the numbers nationally, first off, black folks, we used to be the number 2 demographic group. Used to be, right? Hispanics are now like 17-18% of the population, we're 13, maybe 14. So they've already outranked us and outnumbered us. To Murray's point, at a certain point, they're gonna start to out-organize us, and we're really gonna be in trouble. That's why this conversation is really, really important.
I agree. We got a Negro police top mayor in New York, Eric Adams. He ain't black, he's blue. He's a cop. With our budget in New York is $109 billion. That's the city budget. $233 billion is the state budget. So they asked me, Baron, what would you do with the migrants? First of all, migrants are not just Latino, they're Asian, they're Africans, they're our people too. I said, you know what I would do with them? Y'all put all of these shelters in our districts. I have 14 homeless shelters, Brownsville has 20. I would get all of our people out of those shelters, put them in permanent housing, and let the migrants go in the shelters for now until they can get permanent housing. And then when they get permanent housing, we shut down the shelter system. Right now in New York, we have a surplus of $2 billion in the city state budget and a reserve budget of $8 billion in New York, $22 billion in New York State, and plenty land up there to build temporary housing for migrants. So let's force them to do that, to take care of all of us, migrants, us, our people in these shelters. Don't let them fight us against it. And let me tell you what the real problem is with migrants coming here. American imperialism. Their foreign policy in Nicaragua, their foreign policy in Cuba and Haiti, their foreign policy in Venezuela and Mexico, they're ripping these places off, putting dictators in there that are scaring the hell out of the people, and so they run into America. Chickens coming home to roost because of your foreign policy that's oppressing people. You want to stop migration? Then stop ripping off those countries and let Haiti survive the way it should survive. Haiti's not poor, Haiti's rich, it's oppressed. That's the problem with the migrants.
We have resources, we just, again, lack of knowledge and lack of networking and connecting the dots.
So 15 seconds. A lot of people talk about food deserts. To me, that was saying the wrong thing. I live in Chicago, South Shore. For 5 years, I didn't have a grocery store, but I had places to eat. We have farmers markets, we have food pantries. So what is the real question? Because we have access to food, but what's the quality of the food? What are we eating? So it's deeper than food deserts. It's about changing that pattern. Because if I have a choice to go to a grocery store, am I still gonna get fried chicken? Am I still gonna go to Harold's and get that fried chicken and meat roll? So I need to change my behavior and my mindset and know I can eat a little bit healthier, which means I might not use, I ain't a big vegan cat, but I might eat cauliflower wings for the night. Well, a cardiologist told me if I'm gonna eat a Harold's chicken, y'all got it down. If I'm gonna eat a half white, I need to make sure I walk a half mile so my arteries are clear.
Today we're talking about public health and all of its aspects. And the biggest thing here is for us to stay connected. We all walk away with that, right? We all walk away with understanding that the only way to fix it for us to stay connected connected and continue to collaborate on how we are going to heal communities. If you repeat after me, I'm a link in this chain. It won't break here. I'm a link in this chain. And it won't break here. We are links in this chain.